Yo, what is going on, everyone? It is your main man, Mizix, coming at you with another one. And today, I really wanted to talk about what, in my opinion, is one of the biggest issues going on the internet right now, which would, by extension, make it a big issue going on, just kind of like in the world in general. So first off, I wanted to say sorry if you can hear like some weed whacking or blowing or whatever in the background, because I don't know what's going on with my HOA, but they've been mowing the lawns and like blowing them off and like weed whacking for like it seems like 3 days now. I don't know what's going on. I need to start my own business and I'll get it done in a day or whatever. I don't know how much they're charging these people. So sorry if you hear that in the background, but I don't know. They've just been doing it for like 3 days. So I mean, that's partially why I haven't been uploading. So first of all, so basically the crux of this whole thing is that publishers are people who obviously create content and then publish it, and then they're responsible for whatever they publish, obviously. Then platforms are supposed to be distribution methods for content. So publishers would be people like the New York Times, FaZe Clan, IGN, anyone who distributes content. Maybe, they have different people within their organization who make it, and then they publish it under one name, right? Now, platforms are people that host content. So obviously YouTube's a platform, Facebook is a platform, Twitter's a platform. And now before any of this, platforms would be things like, telephone networks, the cable company who, Comcast, who brings cable to your house, right? They would be publishers before the internet came around, right? And as a platform, you are allowed to censor some things to keep your communication decent, right? You probably heard of the Communication Decency Act. I mean, that's basically what it's for. If someone who wants to publish content that's like porn on your cable channel or whatever, the platform can take that down. They can say, no, we're not going to let you broadcast porn to all of our Comcast customers, right? They are allowed to do that, right? And so that's kind of the basics of the crux of the argument, what's going on here. So basically, a lot of platforms are acting like publishers where they will take down opinions they don't like or people they don't like when they've openly not done anything wrong or there's not any proof that anything malicious is going on. The platform just doesn't like them, right? So this happened with Steven Crowder. They took him down for a while. He's been very careful to not break any rules. He was following the rules. YouTube even admitted that he followed the rules, and they took down Steven Crowder. I suspect this is what's happening with Dr. Disrespect and Twitch, is that Twitch is acting as a publisher and censoring his content when he hasn't broken any of the rules, is what I suspect is going on, right? And then obviously, probably the most famous case of this is Hunter Biden. He dropped off his laptop at a computer repair place, and then he never picked it up. And so then the guy at the computer repair place turned it over to I don't know if he turned it over to someone or someone else found it and posted the contents of it. And Twitter and Facebook took down any mention of this story at all, and it was right before the election too. So it surely would have swayed some voters. I mean, there was some really damning content in that. I mean, I'm not going to get into it now, but there's some really damning content to both him and his dad in that story. And basically, there was no proof that it was fake, but all these online platforms took it down. And by doing so, they were acting as publishers because they were taking down stories that they didn't like, basically. Which is, if you don't like it and you take it down for the sole reason of you don't like it, you're no longer acting as a platform, you're now acting as a publisher, and you should be treated as such, which is really the crux of the issue. The government gives special privileges to platforms because if you're going to host content, then obviously you're taking a lot more of a risk than just publishing content. If you're publishing content, you have a much more direct relationship with whoever's publishing it or whoever's creating it, right? So like if you hire a writer, say you're in the New York Times, you hire a writer, they write for you, you publish it, right? It's that simple. The relationship is pretty easy to manage, whereas if you're a platform, I mean, you just have whoever, basically. You just have a bunch of randos who are putting content on your website, right? And I've got basically no relationship with YouTube. I just signed up, made an account, now making videos, right? So if I post something stupid, they shouldn't be held liable for it, right? But when they do things like take down Steven Crowder's channel because they don't like him, I mean, they're displaying that they are acting as a publisher. So taking down content that you don't like just because of the opinion of the content. You're not, now you have an editorial point of view, and you're acting as a publisher, in my opinion. So you should definitely be held to the standards of a publisher. Now if I upload some rando thing, or if I just start uploading full music videos or whatever, then I mean, YouTube should be held liable if they've displayed that they're able to censor people that they don't like just for not liking them. Then they don't need the extra protections that publishers would need back in the day, right? Like if you're a phone company and I just start blasting music to all my friends, if I start like a radio channel on my phone and I'm like, oh, call my number, and now you're on, I'm playing copyright free songs. It's $1 a month, unlimited streams, right? Well, I mean, that's not on Verizon to censor all that, right? Because I don't know of any way that they can censor it. But for sites like YouTube and Twitter and Facebook, I mean, they've displayed that they're able to censor opinions that they don't like. So they really don't need the extra protections that platforms need. And I think they should be treated as publishers. Now, you may be saying, but Ms., they're free companies. They should be able to work with whoever they want. And I would agree with you on that. I completely agree. They should, if they want to act as free companies and just say, we don't like you, we're not going to work with you because we're a private company. We don't have to do whatever, we don't have to work with you. It's that simple. I mean, I would agree with that take. If you're going to choose to just not work with people, yeah, fine, that's cool and all, but now you're no longer acting as a platform, you're acting as a publisher, number one. But number two, the Supreme Court has decided that these online spaces like YouTube and Twitter and Facebook are the public squares of the modern day. They are not just a private company, they are the public square. The public opinion, the public conversations happen on these sites. That, this is essentially public space is what the Supreme Court decided. That's not my decision. I kind of disagree with that decision. I think if you're a private company and you bake something cool, the government shouldn't just be able to come along and say, this is now public space, right? You're like, well, no, this is my company, right? Mark Zuckerberg should be able to say, no, this is my company. I want to work with whoever I want to work with. I think that should be cool. That should be all dandy. But then you should also hold them accountable for acting as a publisher, and then treat them like a publisher for acting like a publisher. So, solutions to this. So this is a government-created problem. Obviously, they're giving companies who claim to be platforms, they're giving them extra protections. They're not holding them accountable. So it's going to have to be a government-created solution, obviously, which I don't really like. But I think that's just the way it is. I don't see any other way out of it. So pretty much I see two solutions for it. Either A, you just fine the crap out of them after every offense. If you censor someone's opinion because you don't like it, not because they're posting explicit content, not because they're posting something indecent, but just because you don't like the content, I think you should, get a hefty fine, obviously. The other way is just that you lose your privileges. You no longer get treated as a platform. You get treated as a publisher, and then you are now held responsible. If, Nickelodeon wants to go after you for every SpongeBob meme you've ever posted, or you've ever allowed to be posted, then, I mean, that should be fine too. It's one or the other, but you don't get to have it both ways. You don't get to have your cake and eat it too, which is what they've been doing for the past couple of years. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I really want to know your opinions. Peace.